Hume Fogg is where I discovered poetry. When I say I discovered poetry, I don't mean that I discovered these little things of words that I often was forced to read in school and sort of despised. What I mean is that I discovered poetry and that I really liked to write poetry. What's more, what I also discovered here at Hume Fogg was not poetry itself, but I discovered that I could be a poet. That there was a way forward in this life to write these little things and make a living and make a life and have kids and travel and live the life I wanted to live. And that discovery was directly responsible to Bill Brown. When I learned of Bill's passing, I asked, when will his funeral be? And one of his best friends, who's also one of my best friends, said that his beloved Susie had written them and said that they, of course, spoke many times about what they wanted to do when they passed on. And Bill said he didn't want to have a funeral, but he wanted us to gather in our own way, in our own time, and share our love for him. I didn't know when that was going to happen, and then here this came. So again, thank you for being here. This is a poem called This is a Poem About Time. This is a poem about time, that mechanism that heals all wounds and delights in making them too. A lot has happened in 40 years, 10 presidents, 20 Olympic Games, winter and summer, 30 10-year reunions, 40 winters, 40 falls, 40 springs, 40 summers. In 1983, Hume Fogg Academic Magnet High School was formed. The Challenger space shuttle was launched successfully, only to explode in the sky 3 years later. Michael Jackson's Thriller was #1 at the billboards. The Washington Commanders won, believe it or not, the Super Bowl. And Ronald Reagan, believe it or not, was president. In 1993, on the 10-year anniversary of Hume Fogg's conception, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was passed. In 2003, Mark Zuckerberg began design on a website he called The Facebook. In 2013, 3,612 exoplanets were discovered. In just days into 2024, Bill Brown passed away and left us the following instructions for his funeral. Gather in your own way, in your own time, and say goodbye. Time is a thief. Combat, natural causes, lightning strike, COVID-19, these are just a few of the ways our friends and teachers have been taken. But time is also a mother. It is a father, the record keeper, who lets us take a breath and lets us look back. Back to that time when we actually won a state championship. Back to the days when the classic cat was somehow still legal. I knew that was going to enter this poem. Come on now. Remember the Church Street Zone before it became a library? Remember the ghost town that was Broadway? If you've not yet taken a ride on the elevator at the Renaissance Hotel, I highly recommend it. Did you hear there's a pool here at Hume Fogg? Somewhere. Anywhere? And I'm sure you've been in the tunnels. Every Hume Foggers claims they've been in the tunnels. What number were you in the lottery? How many times did you walk back to your car to find your windshield busted in, your stereo hanging like a loose tooth? I have a joke for you. How many Hume Foggers does it take to illegally remove a boot from your tire? 1, I married her. It really was something, wasn't it, going to school in a castle? A little bit of audience participation here. Raise your hand if you ever dated a Hume Fogger. My God. Raise your hand if you ever got your heart broken by a Hume Fogger. Every single one of you. Fogger. Wow, that's
Wow.
you two. I see you. Raise your hand if you have children, or have friends, or are friends with children, or love children, who you dream can go to a place like Hume Fogg, where they'll meet their Frau Alices, their Miss Robinsons, their Alley